All right, let's dive into something that's probably causing a few debates in your own home: smartphones. Specifically, how in the world are we supposed to help our kids navigate this digital maze? It's a real source of tension for families everywhere, and honestly, the stakes are probably a lot higher than you think.
And just to set the stage for how serious this is, take a look at this quote. I mean, wow. Calling screens as addictive as cocaine, that's a powerful statement. But you know what? It really gets to the heart of the anxiety that so many parents and experts are feeling about the pull these devices have on a young mind.
So, just how much time are we really talking about? Well, get ready for this number. International studies are finding that some kids and teens are clocking in up to 9 hours of screen time a day. No, not for schoolwork. We're talking streaming, social media, gaming, the whole shebang. 9 hours. Think about that. That's longer than a standard school day.
That much time has to have an effect, right? I mean, it's just common sense. So let's look at what the science is actually telling us. What is all this screen time really doing to a kid's developing brain?
Well, it turns out the impact is pretty wide-ranging. According to psychotherapist Nadi Moran, this isn't some single-issue problem. We're seeing it get in the way of cognitive development, it's messing with their ability to concentrate, and it can even dull creativity. On top of all that, research is pointing to clear links with anxiety, depression, and some serious sleep disorders, partly because all that blue light from the screens actually blocks melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep.
So what's driving this? What's keeping them glued to their phones? A huge part of it is this modern monster called FOMO, or the fear of missing out. It's that constant, nagging anxiety, fed by social media, that everybody else is out there having a better, more exciting time. And that feeling creates this almost magnetic pull to stay online 24/7.
So what can we do? Well, experts like Miran say a flat-out ban is probably not the way to go. In fact, it can just make things worse. The real advice seems to be a two-step approach. First, delay. Wait as long as you possibly can before giving your kid a smartphone, ideally until the teenage years. And second, when you do give it to them, don't just hand it over. You have to sit down and build a set of rules together.
Okay, that sounds good in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's zoom in on one family in Switzerland that's trying to navigate this whole thing right now.
And this is where you really see the struggle. On one side, you have the parents, Usa and Martin. They're doing exactly what the experts recommend, trying to teach responsible use, protect their kids from harm, setting limits. But on the other side is their kids' reality. And that reality is, all my friends have way more freedom online, and I'm starting to feel left out. And you know, it's not just the parents feeling the pressure. Listen to their 16-year-old daughter, Sophia. She gets it. She feels uncomfortable when she's with friends and everyone is just staring at a screen. She'd rather actually connect, play a game or just talk. It's this incredible tug-of-war so many teens are caught in.
And his quote from her mom, Usa, wow, it's just gut-wrenching. It captures that impossible tightrope parents are walking. Part of you wants to say, just go ahead, join in. I don't want you to feel excluded. But the other part of you knows you have to hold the line because it's what's best for them. What a tough spot to be in.
So if it's this hard for a single family, what happens when a whole community decides to tackle the problem together? We're starting to see schools and even entire towns say enough is enough and try to change the game.
Okay, so first up, let's look at a top-down approach. This boarding school in Switzerland just decided to lay down the law. No smartphones during the school day. Period. It's a pretty bold move, designed to create a space that's totally focused on learning without digital distractions.
So how did the students react? You'd think they'd be up in arms, right? The school actually surveyed them, probably expecting some pushback, but they got the complete opposite. A massive 75%, 3/4 of the students, said the ban was actually liberating. They said they could concentrate so much better.
And the teachers? They noticed it too. One teacher, Eleanor Phillips, said the difference was like night and day. No more constant reminders to put phones away, no more buzzing in the middle of a lesson. The classroom was just calmer, more focused. Everyone was actually paying attention.
All right, now let's flip the script and look at a totally different strategy. Over in a town called Greystones, Ireland, the change didn't come from the school administration. It came from the parents themselves, banding together from the bottom up.
And the idea they came up with is just so simple, it's brilliant. Parents from all the local elementary schools made a voluntary pact. They all agreed to wait until their kids were in secondary school to get them a smartphone. And just like that, they took away the single most powerful argument a kid has. But mom, everyone else has one. It creates a new normal for the whole town.
When you see these examples, from a school-wide ban to a town-wide pact, You start to wonder, are we watching the beginning of a whole new social contract being written? A new set of unwritten rules for how we live with technology?
And let's be honest with ourselves for a second. This isn't just about the kids. There's even a word for what we adults do, phubbing. You know exactly what this is. It's when you're talking to someone and they're just looking at their phone, snubbing a real person for a screen. We've all seen it. And if we're really honest, we've all done it.
This quote from Gavin, one of the parents in Greystones, just hits the nail on the head. How can we expect our kids to have a healthy relationship with their phones if we don't? That whole do as I say, not as I do thing, it just doesn't work here. We have to model the behavior we want to see.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's pretty clear that the goal isn't to get rid of smartphones. That ship has sailed. The real goal is to find a balance. It's about educating ourselves and our kids on how to use these incredible tools in a way that helps us thrive, instead of letting them run our lives.
Which brings us to this final, really powerful question. You know that beautiful old saying that our job as parents is to give our children roots and wings? Roots to keep them grounded, and wings so they can fly. Well, in today's digital world, what do those roots even look like? What does it truly mean to be grounded when you're always connected? That, I think, is the question we all have to figure out together.